Welcome back to another lovely episode of your favorite college basketball podcast, Blue Blooded. Actually, this is the first news and notes. We're just going to start right away with this.
Okay.
My name is Ryan Hammer. I am your host. You guys know that, though. My big brother, Adam, here. I used to call you the producer, but you do nowhere near enough technical producing to get that title.
Yeah, I think I said to you, I literally don't produce.
So now we are introducing you as the GM of the podcast.
Let's
Round
go.
of applause. Yay.
A little bit of everything. You never know what you're going to get out of me.
Very much like college basketball.
Yes.
They're all adopting GMs.
Yes.
You have to go find me an NIL deal.
Okay.
Deal. That's literally what the GMs do.
Great.
Like,
Sounds good to me. I'm in.
Also, you have to go spend our NIL to bring in recruits.
Is it your money or my money I'm spending?
Good question. Never mind. We have no NIL money. I lied. Take it all back.
Okay. I'll go get some.
Fine.
I'm happy to have a title.
Anyways, you are the GM of the podcast.
Love it.
Congratulations.
I love it.
Nice little handshake.
Thank you.
Welcome to the team officially.
Thank
You are back in the studio with me today. We have a great episode. Today really marks the beginning of the conference previews for the college basketball season. We're only less than 2 months away from the season. I think 50 days as of yesterday, I think it was, until college basketball starts, or today.
Sorry for blowing out your eardrums.
But, yeah, conference previews are starting now. This is the mid-major episode. This is probably the best one of all of them because, like, listen, I could talk to you about the SEC, Big Ten, A10, whatever. The mid-majors are what you need to know. I have done extensive research, and you have done some also, but I have done extensive research across the summer and even last season to get the mid-majors that you need to know now before it even becomes the postseason in March. And you're like, where do these teams come from? Learn about them now so that you know throughout the entire season.
Yeah, I'm really excited about it. Ryan, before we do our news and notes, why don't you give a little tour? We got some new stuff behind us.
Yes, we actually, even where you can't see, I've done some new technical advancements. Hopefully the audio sounds good to you guys.
Yes.
You can see this flag. Messi poster is on the side for now. Messi's gone for now because I love Messi, a soccer guy.
Still the GOAT?
He's the best player ever.
Still the GOAT.
Not even a question.
Still the GOAT.
But I found this when I was in San Diego. This of all colleges, but it's an older logo. You can see like UConn up here. It's the Husky. I love that one. Maryland is
the Maryland flag is elite.
I guess it's from like the 2010s-ish is my guess.
Yeah.
But really cool. I thought it fit the studio really well. Also, you know how it works with the jerseys. When we get new jerseys sent in from the teams and the programs and coaches, we put them on the wall in the studio for video. Behind Adam, we have a New Mexico Lobos jersey, a Nebraska jersey, and behind me, we got a San Francisco jersey and an NC State jersey. So, thank you to all those programs, coaches, and personnel who sent those in. They will be up in the rotation with all the other jerseys throughout the course of the season.
I was really hoping this was a Tominaga jersey. It's unfortunately not, but I can pretend it is.
I don't remember what number he wore.
30.
Oh, damn. That is a JT Toppin jersey.
Yeah, and that is a Ryan Hammer jersey.
Oh, yeah. Should I?
Yeah, heck yeah.
How do I? They've already seen it, I think, but
Sorry, turn it around for the people who haven't.
I can't get it.
Oh, take it off.
Oh, shit. There we go.
There it is. Wow.
Boom.
Fire.
I'm on the team.
Fire.
If you're just listening on Spotify, I'm holding up all the jerseys. And the jersey that has my name on the back.
It's pretty sick. It's an NC State jersey.
Get it back on the hook. Ready?
It's really cool.
Is that straight enough?
Shout out
Get
Will
off
Wade.
me.
Shout out Will Wade and gang.
And Reed and everybody.
Yeah.
Let's get on with the episode. On to news and notes. All right, news and notes around the nation. It's the offseason, and it feels like we're in the middle of the season because we have two coaches. Well, one got fired. Two coaches leaving their posts in college basketball this week. We have one at Wofford firing Dwight Perry 6 weeks before the season starts.
Insanity.
And there hasn't been a lot of like reasoning behind this. I have no idea why. People were speculating all over social media. This is also not the first time that Wofford has done this.
Okay.
I don't understand what it is about Wofford, and like something must have happened because he was an above 500 coach in his 100 games or close to 100 games that he's coached at Wofford. You're 6 weeks before the season. He has a class coming in. Like there has to be some kind of reasoning, something bigger than is being told.
Yeah, there better be more than meets the eye here because you and I have texted about this. Like,
Weird.
This fires me up because this is how you nuke a basketball program.
Everyone wants to leave now. No, who wants to be?
Who wants to be there?
No, that's not. Shouldn't say that because the coaching staff still stays together a bit, but still, overall, why would you want to stay?
Yeah.
I get why people are going to want to leave. The fact that they've done this twice now, right before the season's about to start in the last like decade or something like that, that is so alarming to the athletics and who's basically running the entire
Yep.
athletics program out there.
Yep. There was some. By the way, there was some
strange.
drama with the coach before too, who like took time off and then stepped down. So it's a mess in Wofford.
Yeah.
I feel bad for all the players involved, but yeah, don't fire your coach 6 weeks before the college basketball season starts. Just
so weird. Unless something bad happened.
okay, but we don't know it. We don't know that yet.
I'm going to assume something bad happened because there's no way that they
Yep.
just did this for no reason. Other news, another coach, Billy Lang at St. Joe's. St. Joe's is a friend of the program, but Billy Lang stepping down from his post, and they're bringing on an interim coach that was brought on last season from internally in the staff. St. Joe's just got a brand new facility, brand new practice facility. They had a player drafted in the first round of the NBA draft for the first time in a while. I think since Jameer Nelson probably. Actually, he might have another couple other. But the program felt like it's been doing well, but Billy Lang has never been able to get it past a certain point. They beat Texas Tech last year early in the season. They looked good. Like I'm just trying to I'm trying to wrap my head around it. Like he was entering the season on a hot seat. He was very, very much on the hot seat with everything he had at St. Joe's and hasn't been able to succeed. This was a make or break year for him. He definitely could have been fired at the end of the year, and we could have been talking about whoever the new coach was at St. Joe's because they decided to move on. So I get Billy Lang moving on himself. He removed himself from the hot seat instead of the seat being hot. So
Well, and let's not act like he left for some
he left for an
Joe
NBA
Schmo
job. I
He
should
took
have said
he
that.
took a Knicks assistant job.
I should have said that, yes.
Yeah.
But I will say, I met Billy, like I know him relatively well. I know that entire program.
Yeah.
He should not have done this at this point of the
I
year.
agree.
Even though they had a plan in place for who was going to take
yeah.
over, and nothing is going to change with their personnel for the most part.
Yeah.
I do not like this.
I agree because
Don't like
it's a bad look to the program. It's a bad
Bad.
look for. By the way, St. Joe's great fan base.
Very good, and the hawk never dies.
Oh, it's
never stops flapping.
Great. It's a great mascot. Any of the Big Five schools are great. I feel bad for the fan base, but look, he's a Jersey guy. He was a Sixers assistant coach for a couple of years. This tracks. The timing is horrible, and I feel bad for everybody else
bad.
involved. But this is not firing your coach and letting the program sit there and rot. You have to think that he put stuff in motion to make sure that things weren't going to fall apart afterwards. We'll see.
Yeah, like I said, I get it. I understand. He took himself off the hot seat instead of him having the opportunity to get fired at the end of the season. And he went for a job that's cushier. It's better in some levels. It's bigger in the NBA, in the basketball world. But I don't know. It doesn't sit right with me. St. Joe's still my people, still a friend of the program, and I hope they do well. But we'll see how that goes. Other news and notes: Lamar Wilkerson, Sam Houston State transfer, now at Indiana, elite shooter, like ridiculous sharpshooter. He is giving back 6 digits was the number that was given. Let's call it $100,000, right? 6 digits of his NIL money he's getting in Indiana back to the program at Sam Houston State. First off, we love that.
Love it.
Oh, a little voice crack.
No.
I was at the
Yours.
Jet game.
I thought you were the one.
You're not at the Jet game today. I was.
No, I was at my daughter's soccer game. They lost like 12-2.
Oh.
Yeah,
You
not
might have been
great.
screaming at it then.
Well, maybe a little bit too much yelling. We love this. This is such a cool move.
This is so
and
cool.
this may have happened before, but this is the first public time.
Yeah, exactly. He got asked on camera. I think it was Field 68. But let's assume it's $100,000. I talked about this with the video, or I don't know if I did yet. And I talked about this before. I have a lot of ways to fix college sports. This is one of them.
Okay.
People are mad about NIL and the transfer portal being able to just poach all the good mid-major players and bring them all to the top.
You want the players to get. You want the programs to get a kickback.
I treat it like professional soccer in Europe.
I was just gonna say this.
Treat it like the transfer
Yeah.
market, where you have all these smaller teams or programs that are developing these players, finding them, turning them into what they are, like Lamar Wilkerson at Sam Houston State. They don't deserve to just be like, we hope you do well because they're going to root for their guys no matter what.
Yeah.
But Lamar Wilkerson shouldn't have to be the one to pay them. The players should not be the one having to pay their old school, the smaller school. So my proposal is you set tiers. The NCAA sets tiers, 3 tiers of schools across the entire country for each sport.
Okay.
And based on conference.
Sure.
So the power schools are the top, and then whatever. If a guy transfers up in the offseason, the team that's getting that new transfer at the top, at the higher level, has to pay, like, we'll call it a 10% clause
Okay.
of whatever they're paying that guy in NIL money to the school he came from. So in this case, 6 digits, we'll call it $100,000. So we'll say he's getting $1 million.
Okay.
Right? Indiana has to pay 10%, which in this case would be $100,000 to Sam Houston State, to say thank you for your service. We are going to take Lamar Wilkerson. We're going to pay him his money, his $1 million, and we're going to give you a little kickback too. It'll help close the gap a little bit on the mid-majors not being able to compete with money. I don't think $100,000 makes Sam Houston State a contender in their conference next year and whatever, but doing it once, doing it twice, doing it 3 times, it'll all add up over time, and it makes sense.
We're going to have to work on this because the one thing that won't happen from that is the publicizing of NIL money.
It would have to be an internal system. But the problem is it would get leaked way too much.
Right. So I think you're onto something like the
maybe it's a flat fee then.
Sure.
Maybe it's
that's straight out of FIFA, flat fee.
If you're bringing on a guy, if Lamar Wilkerson, again, we'll use him as an example, Indiana, you're getting him. If you're paying him at least $500,000, it could be $10 million, it could be $600,000.
Right, it doesn't matter.
You have to pay $50,000.
Okay. I think that might make more sense.
And I think out of all my crazy ideas to fix college sports in the landscape, I think this is the most realistic one.
I think it's realistic because everybody that would agree that this is very much the wild, wild west, and the NIL stuff needs to be fixed.
But I could see the states getting involved in this more than other things in legislation.
Yeah.
Where I think it's actually a possibility.
Probably.
It will never happen because it's a good idea. It's obviously never going to happen. But that kind of is what it is. Let's take a quick break, and we'll come back with the home court advantage of the week, sponsored by Homefield, and then we'll get on to the good stuff of the show.
This week's home court advantage, presented by Homefield, takes us all the way down to the ATL for the Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets.
Hey, baby.
Shout out Georgia Tech, 24-21, walk-off win against Clemson. First time in 9 years that they have beaten Clemson.
Wow.
Georgia Tech.
They rushed the field.
You didn't give it a high rating.
5.2. Field rushes aren't easy, but they didn't do a great job.
Well, now let me tell you this. Anytime you carry a goalpost into a river, you will be featured on this section.
It's fair.
That is my rule of thumb. Whiteout game.
Yeah, the whiteout was a huge part of it.
I think Georgia Tech, like kind of the redheaded stepchild of the ACC, hasn't had a ton of success, frankly, in football or basketball in the last couple of decades. When I was at Maryland, it was the Paul Hewitt days of Georgia Tech. They were like flaming out, still not great. So shout out Georgia Tech. Shout out Yellow Jackets. That's a huge win. They are ranked 18 in the AP poll this week.
Georgia Tech?
Yes, which is a rarity.
They were a 3.5-point underdog only, which is like
I know.
That's why the rush wasn't like the vibe wasn't crazy, but Clemson was rattled. The whiteout, the whole environment,
you got to remember
this is the home court advantage segment. Clemson was rattled.
Yeah, it was a whiteout. First time in a decade that they beat Clemson, who has been an elite ACC football school.
Oh yeah. For sure. It was awesome.
Shout out Yellow Jackets.
All right. Now it is time for the good part of the episode. The conference previews, like I said, we're starting with today the mid-majors. The mid-majors across the entire country to know before the college basketball season. I feel like mid-majors in general, they don't get talked about enough, the real mid-majors, until January, when you start to realize, oh my God, this team has 2 losses on the entire season, and they're actually analytically really good, and they got shooters and whatever. And then obviously February and March and into the postseason and whatnot, people start to learn more throughout the country. But fear not, we are here today to give you the goods on the teams. I do want to clarify what we're talking about mid-majors are. I think WCC schools, A10, they are mid-majors, but today we're not doing any A10 schools, no WCC schools, no Mountain West schools, no AAC schools. Am I missing any other conferences?
No. Can I ask you a really quick question, though, on the spot?
What?
Outside of Gonzaga and St. Mary's, WCC school to watch this year?
San Francisco.
Okay.
Not because those are my guys, but they're actually going to be really good.
Good answer.
They retain a lot. Tyronn Riley's going to break out. They're going to be awesome.
Let's just be honest. Gonzaga and St. Mary's is the reason we're not including them
Yes,
here.
But we're also going to do the reason why I'm not including those 4 conferences, A10, WCC, Mountain West, AAC, with the conference preview segments and episodes, we're going to do full episodes dedicated to those conferences alone. So I don't want to get into those today, and I think those schools get enough national recognition compared to what we're going to talk about in mid-majors anyway.
Okay.
So I do want to start off with a league that I think is just as good as like some of those conferences I mentioned. It's the MVC.
Okay.
It's one of the best basketball leagues in the country. It's one of the best pure forms of basketball you'll find in the world, in my opinion.
Arch Madness.
Listen, people don't know about Arch Madness. They should. They're at the wrong show.
Yeah.
They're the wrong show.
This show is not for you.
MVC is awesome. I want to give you a stat real fast, actually.
Okay.
In the last decade, there have been 13 MVC teams to get into the NCAA tournament.
Okay.
Most of them win their Arch Madness tournament, and they're like 11 or 12 seeds. Some of them have gotten in over the years at like 7 seed, 10 seed, whatever.
Okay.
13 teams in the last decade. They're 8-5 in round of
Wow.
64 games.
Show the shirt off.
Oh, yeah, I'm wearing a Loyola Chicago shirt today. Shout out Sister Jean. Because it's mid-major day. I know they're in the A-10 now, but this year they were in the MVC.
Yep.
So
And
that
Drake
kind of-
obviously last year came to mind as well.
Drake last year. There have been so many good teams. Murray State now in the MVC. They were OVC at one point,
Yep.
but the MVC is awesome. I don't think people really grasp how good the league actually is. On top of 8-5, they have had, I think it's 3 schools get to the Sweet 16 in the last decade, and they obviously have Loyola in the Final Four.
Yep.
So that's crazy. I want to start off with who I think will be the favorite in the league. That's Illinois State. I think they're the Redbirds, right?
I believe so. No space in Redbirds.
No space. The Redbirds of Illinois State, they are number 6 in the country in returning minutes percentage, in roster continuity, and returning their experience.
Okay.
That's one thing you're going to notice a lot with this league is that a lot of the players who were successful last year, they stayed for the most part, which is rare for one team, super rare for a whole league.
Yeah.
You don't see that very often, especially at the top of the league.
This is like a high mid-major type of play, so I can see why.
The MVC is amazing. Yeah.
Yep.
They only lost one player to the transfer portal.
Okay.
Chase Walker was first team All MVC last season. He's going to be likely the returning, the predicted conference player of the year. He said, and I quote, when asked about why he's returning to Illinois State, "Money can't buy happiness, and money can't buy playing time."
I love that.
I love that. Chase Walker also, in high school, he was like 300 pounds.
Okay.
He's a big fellow. He's like 6'9".
Yeah.
He has slimmed down a lot over the years. I don't think people have ever heard of him at all, to be honest. But he's an awesome player. He's great. They also returned Johnny Kinzinger, who scored 15 a game last year. Last year, they barely turned the ball over. They were top 25 in the country in three-point shooting. Like, this is a team, Illinois State, that could easily lose 3 games all year.
Yeah. Only team in the top 100 of Torvik from the MVC.
They're top 100.
They are.
Predicted.
They are number 99.
When analytics predict that from the beginning, I think it says a lot.
I know that to your point earlier, you are very well prepared for this. I just can't get to your level, so I used Bart to help out a little bit, push me in the right direction.
That's okay. I'll give you some more teams in the MVC.
Go for it.
Usually I would just bounce around conference to conference.
Yeah, let's stay here.
I could not. I have 5 teams to talk about.
Yeah,
the
okay.
MVC is so
Okay.
good.
Okay.
It's always good, but like it's top heavy, but the top half heavy.
Okay.
So this year I think there's a lot of parity at the top. I think it's why we have to talk about it. UNI is going to be really good. I mentioned Illinois State was number 6, the number 1 team in the country in returning minutes percentage. So roster continuity, bringing your guys back. People think of Purdue. UNI is number 1. They're going to be awesome. Trey Campbell, one of the best mid-major guards in the entire country. Ben Jacobson's a great coach. He's been there through all of the years of the UNI success in the tournament. The Jesperson shot, again, when they played Texas A&M also. Like, Ben Jacobson's been their coach the entire time, so he knows how to win. He knows how to succeed at a high level. Bradley's another one. Brian Wardle.
Bradley was going to be the one I bring up, too.
Brian Wardle's an awesome coach.
Yeah, he's a great coach.
Last year, they were the quality of an NCAA tournament team. 1,000%. They lost Duke Dean, who was one of the best players in the conference and one of the best mid-major players in the country. And they lost a few other seniors.
They also
who were
shot
big also.
the lights out last year.
They were that's part of Brian Wardle's kind of like mantra. They retain young guys. Jaquan Johnson is one of their dudes who I think is like their next Duke Dean. He's a small, electric, offensive, shifty guard. He's a guy that everyone needs to watch out for. They also have a 4-star freshman coming into Bradley.
Love that.
Dietrich Richardson, he's the number 2 player in Illinois.
Okay.
And at one point, he was the best player recruit in Illinois.
Okay.
I think he either grew up and or lives 5 minutes away from Peoria. I think that's where they are.
Yeah, that's where
their
it is.
campus.
Yeah.
He's basically has grown up and lived in that hometown.
Love it.
So he's staying home, going to Bradley. Like, I guess that's how you get a dude like that.
Bradley reminds me a lot of College Hoops 2K8 too, because that was one of the teams you could start with, I believe.
Yeah.
And so I'm a big Bradley guy. I just want to put that out there now.
They're gonna be good.
They're my early MVC pick.
I do like them.
Brian
Wardle's a great coach.
I really like them.
Great
By the way,
coaching
not to
all
back
around.
up too much, but you say UNI, who do you think I think of? What player?
Jesperson,
Ali Farouk Manesh.
coach of Colorado State.
Yes, I know, assistant coach. Oh, no, yeah.
No, he's
head coach now. That's right.
Nico left.
That's right. I forgot about
Congratulations.
that. Congratulations. We don't talk about what happened with Maryland that year, but he may have hit a big shot against the team that.
Always bringing up Maryland on this podcast. That's your job.
I would never do it.
Talk about return 3-point shooting and returning experience. Belmont is another great team. They returned 48% of their playing time from last year when they were 13th in the country in 3-point shooting.
Has Belmont ever not shot the ball well?
No, and
every year.
People don't know Jacoby Gillespie.
Yeah.
Came from Maryland, but came from Belmont
this
before.
Bringing up Maryland all the time on this podcast.
Came from Maryland, but came from Belmont before that.
Yep.
Now he's at Tennessee, back home. Malik Dia, who's at Ole Miss, came from Belmont, and Cade Tyson, who didn't work out as well at North Carolina. I think he's at Minnesota now.
I think he'll be just fine.
All three of them were on the team together at Belmont 2 years ago, which is crazy. But Belmont's going to be really good again. Tyler Lundblade is one of the best shooters you will find in all of college basketball. He shot 48% last year from three on 6.5 attempts. That's like a literal flamethrower.
Yeah.
I'm like, I was like learning about him last season, and I was like, I can't believe this dude is real. That's a crazy rate.
We got to go to St. Louis for Arch Madness?
Might have to. We'll see how the year plays out.
That's going to be a really fun one.
Last team I'll bring up in the MVC, and then I'll take a breather. Murray State. I love Murray State. They are the opposite of what is going on in the MVC, though. Ryan Miller, first-time head coach, coming over from Creighton. He was one of the lead assistants there under Greg McDermott. They have all new guys coming in. They have dudes coming from Creighton like Mason Miller, Santa Barbara, West Virginia, Boise State, DePaul, North Texas. They have a really good quality roster. I like Ryan Miller as a coach. I know he knows what he's doing, especially offensively. I think they're going to be the dark horse in the MVC to watch for. So Illinois State, my favorite in the MVC. I think they're going to be one of the best mid-majors in the country. So I wanted to start off with them. UNI, Belmont, Bradley return a lot of pieces. They know how to win. They have good coaching in the MVC. And then Murray State is the riser, the dark horse.
Yeah, Bradley's my pick. I love what Murray State's doing here because I love like the dichotomy of how different teams approach conferences.
Yeah.
And to your point, they have like a sub 1% returning minutes. Murray State,
basically zero.
It's like a 0.2% returning minutes, and that's such a contrast to the rest of the conference that's keeping a lot of players in.
Right.
So, like they could be fantastic. Or they could underwhelm, and you don't know what's going to happen.
There's a lot of variability with them.
Yeah.
I feel like I just rambled and ranted so much about the MVC teams, but the league is going to be, to me, definitely a top 10 league in the country this year.
Okay.
Any of those 5 teams, I think, will be an NCAA tournament team, if not maybe 2 of them if things go well. I don't think they will because they're going to beat each other up, too.
I think so, too. Are you going to cover the OVC at all?
I don't have anyone if you want to bring them up.
I actually think it fits really well into what we just talked about.
I'll let you go. OVC.
We talked about this earlier, which is University of Tennessee Martin. Do you know
Skyhawks?
Their team? I was just going to...
I played with them in college hoops 2K8.
Bang.
UT Martin.
That was a good logo, too. Blue and orange.
Yeah, the little...
Yeah. Okay. UT Martin. The reason I bring them up is kind of twofold here. Talk about teams programs doing things a little bit different than the way other schools do. UT Martin this year, sorry, I got to bring this back up again because I lost it on my page here.
You had briefly mentioned this to me. This is crazy.
Okay.
Go ahead.
The Balkan Block lives in Champaign, Illinois this year.
Yeah, they got
basketball.
Stojakovic, Petrovic. They got a bunch of...
Wait until you hear what's happening in Martin, Tennessee.
I think you're gonna be breaking news in the country right now.
I think that I am too. And I'll give you a very quick backstory as to why this is happening afterwards.
Sure.
But if you go on their roster and you read down hometown, are you ready for this?
I am very ready.
Serbia, Spain, Gambia, Bosnia, Illinois, Romania, Portugal, Senegal, Georgia, Kentucky, Russia, Slovenia, Serbia, Senegal, Lithuania, Romania.
It's a lot of Eastern European,
but
they're also I heard
Eastern European.
No, I heard Spain and Portugal, Africa.
A little bit of everything. And the common denominator there is that 2 or 3 of these guys came from a JUCO school called Eastern Florida State College.
Love it.
I don't know if you would have guessed that to be real or fake.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I
don't know if you would have guessed that to be real or fake. They have a second-year coach by the name of Jeremy Schulman. He used to coach JUCO ball in Florida with these kids. So he's kind of bringing over his Eastern European style that he brought to East Florida to the UT Martin Skyhawks. I am fascinated by it.
Do you know anything about the quality of the guys?
Not really.
Even at the JUCO level or D2, whatever it was.
I know that they were a very good JUCO program.
That's all I need to hear.
Yes.
I was going to say they're either going to be awful or amazing.
I know that they were a good JUCO program.
OVC also is like 10 teams. It's easy to get out of the OVC.
Yep. You know what?
That's not
In
true,
real
but-
time, we haven't looked at this before. Let's see what Torvik says about the OVC.
It's not going to be good.
It's not pretty,
It
but
ain't
they
gonna be
do
pretty.
have a top 150 team in there.
Not them.
Little Rock.
Little Rock's always good.
Yeah, Tennessee Martin is near the
Morris
bottom,
State.
but I just want to call out that I am fascinated and intrigued by what Colt Schulman
I
is
like
doing
that.
there. So look out for Eastern Bloc 2.0 in Tennessee.
Talk about interesting teams.
Yeah.
Let me put you on. Okay?
Let's go.
The Chippewas of Central Michigan. All I think of is Antonio Brown.
I was going to say MAC football, so that checks out.
Okay, Maction.
Yeah.
The Chippewas of Central Michigan could be this year's Drake Bulldogs.
Okay.
I got to send a special shout out to my good man Jordan Majewski on Twitter. We'll tag him on this. If you don't know who he is, he put me on to the Chippewas this
Okay.
year. I have understood a little bit about them because like I'm watching, paying attention to D2 JUCO ball throughout the year, and like as coaches transfer to D1, I'm curious. But Jordan put me on heavily to this, so I have to shout out to him.
Okay.
My good man there. Drake last year, Ben McCullum before Drake. I think it was Northwest Missouri State. He won D2 national championships. He was one of the best coaches in all of college basketball at any relative to their own level, at the D2 at the JUCO level. He brought it all to Drake. Or D2, whatever it was. He brought it all to Drake to D1. He succeeded right away in the MVC, and not only because he was a good coach, because good coaching succeeds on every level, but the players he brought were good. They knew his system because they came from his system, and because they were unique. Drake played this slow, grueling, methodical, but super efficient and meticulous schematic, like X's and O's strategy of playing, and it threw teams off. They were amazing throughout the entire year. Obviously, they had Bennett Sturts, who is the greatest player
Right.
on God's green earth, apparently, which he is. But you saw it in the tournament. Even after they got out of Arch Madness, they went to play Missouri, and Missouri had no idea how to play against that style of team, and that's why they were able to handle Missouri. Like, take them in the hands, put them in their pockets, and walk out with a
Okay.
win. Back to Central Michigan.
Yes, I was wondering where we were going here.
I'm setting the
Stage.
Setting the stage. I'm explaining Drake because Central Michigan is very similar.
Okay.
Andy Bronkema, D2 national champion in 2018 at Ferris State. Drake plays a very slow pace.
Yep.
This is the complete opposite.
Yep.
They play the fastest pace you will find in basketball at any level. They have I have to, excuse me. They have a ridiculous full court zone press.
Love it.
For like a majority of the
Oh
game.
my God.
It reminds me of college hoops.
1-2-1-1 diamond press, full court.
The video game college hoops
trap.
2K, if you do a 1-2-1-1 zone
You
press,
cannot lose the game.
You can force 30 turnovers in a game.
can't lose the
It's
game.
so crazy. I will show you the footage afterwards.
excited.
People will see the Ferris State press that they're
Okay.
going to bring to Central Michigan was unbelievable. He's bringing in some of his Ferris State players. He's bringing in some of their D2 players from other
Yep.
rivals.
And he's bringing in somebody who was on the all-name team immediately.
Fat Brooks.
Immediately.
People, Big Ten fans know him.
Yeah,
He's
Michigan.
a Michigan guy,
Michigan guy.
coming over to Central Michigan now. They also have a really good 7-footer. They play their half-court offense through, who was with him at Ferris State before.
Okay.
So, like, they have legit size. They have legit ability.
I mean-
if there was a mid-major team to shock the country like Drake did last year in the MVC, it is Central Michigan this year in the MAC.
I'm with it.
The Chippewas.
I'm with it. It's so under the radar. I'm learning here along with probably a lot of people. But I'm into it.
Y'all just been learned about the Chippewas.
Learned about the Chippewas. Let's get ourselves to Mount Pleasant, Michigan this year, huh?
Is that where it is?
Yeah. No idea where that is.
Sounds sick.
Yeah.
Shall I proceed?
Huh?
Shall I proceed?
Shit, let's go.
Ivy League basketball.
I
I'm a fan.
love Ivy League basketball.
Ivy League basketball rocks. The teams are always good. Yale was a hot pick last year. I was on them. They didn't win.
Has there ever been a year where the Ivy League champ is not a favorite?
And not dangerous.
And-
At least everyone's not like, holy crap.
Right.
You know
and
what,
pardon me, they could always shoot.
you know when the year was? When Princeton went to the Sweet 16.
And they won.
As a 15
At the
seed.
15 seed, yeah.
So, but I think that kind of put the Ivy League back
Yeah,
on
they're
in a way.
Always dangerous.
Yale is always good. Princeton has always been good, but Caden Pierce not playing this year.
Yep.
Xavier Lee's gone. They do got my boy Malik Abdullahi. They got some dudes there still. They'll be good.
It's going to be tough.
Mitch knows how to get those guys to shoot. Yale's going to be good. Nick Townsend's returning. He's one of the best players in the Ivy League. They also lose Bez Mbang and John Pulakidis, who Yale could be good and win the league for sure. But without those two, there's no way they're going to be as good as they were last year.
Yeah.
Not a chance in
By
hell.
the way, you want to talk about a conference that retains players for obvious reasons here?
Oh, I have a thing coming out. I have it up here, actually.
Okay. Oh.
I did a study that is unreleased of all the conferences' average retaining minutes.
This has to be the highest, besides maybe some of the powers.
So number 3 is at 37% average. Ivy League is number 1 at 62%.
This was
62%.
not planned, by the way.
Not planned.
Not planned.
Not planned.
Well, why wouldn't you stay at an Ivy school?
Exactly. You want to get the
If you
degrees.
commit there, you care about your education, and you are likely to follow through with that.
I'm not here to talk about Yale or Princeton.
Okay.
I'm here to talk about Harvard Crimson.
Okay.
Remember, they used to be demons in the NCAA tournament.
Yeah, they were really good.
There was a time.
Tommy Amaker.
Yeah. Robbie. Oh, my God. Robert Hinton. He might go by Robbie. Robert Hinton. He is my guy. I got to talk to him more about that. Robert Hinton, one of the best freshmen in college basketball last year.
Yeah.
People don't know about him enough. He is amazing. He's got a pro skill set to him. He's a big guard. He could have gone anywhere. Could have gone absolutely anywhere in the country, but he chose to stay at Harvard. Thomas Batiste, Chandler PJ, that's their trio from last year. They're returning this year. They weren't amazing last year, but they were good enough. Yale is losing their guys. Princeton is losing Caden and Xavier. Harvard is the dark horse before you have to even label who the champion
Yale's
is going
the
to be.
favorite, I assume.
Yale will be the favorite.
Okay.
They probably should be the favorite.
Yep.
Harvard is the team to watch out for. They're going to have the best talent by far in the Ivy League.
I'm just happy that the Ivy League does a conference tournament because
They
5,
used to
6
not.
years ago, it was
Yeah.
just whoever wins the regular season wins. And although that's cool and very Premier League style,
Yeah.
that's not what March Madness is all about. So
It's
I'm
true.
happy that they've adopted to that a little bit. Harvard or Yale will probably win the league, and whichever one of them wins will probably be a very popular Cinderella pick.
I love Harvard this year. I think that if they get to a point in later in the season where they're like, I'm gonna watch them in the non-con slate. If you can just tell with an eye test analytically. I'll do some research, but we'll know early if Harvard's going to be good or not for real. I think we'll know very early.
By the way, this is year. I had to look it up. This is year number 17, I believe, for Tommy Amaker at
17.
Harvard.
Wow.
And he has been rumored early, like in the 2000s.
So has Mitch Henderson at Princeton. They don't
Tommy
leave.
Amaker was going to be Duke's coach for a decade.
They don't leave
I know.
the Ivy coaches. It's not just the players, it's the coaches.
Yep.
Yeah. I will go on to another one. Maybe my favorite mid-major in the entire country this year. The Tommies of St. Thomas,
Yeah,
Minnesota.
I love it.
I mentioned how Central Michigan could be this year's Drake. St. Thomas, the Tommies of St. Thomas, could be this year's UC San Diego.
Okay.
Their 5th year as a D1 program,
Which means
it's their first year eligible to go to the NCAA tournament, just like it was for UC San Diego last year.
Yep.
Last season, I'll give you some stats. They're 12th in scoring in the entire country. They were 11th in three-point shooting. They were 14th best in not turning the ball over, under 10 a game.
Wow.
And they returned 42% of their minutes from that team. They're also adding Tyler Hero's little brother, Austin Hero, who is actually nice. He's smooth. He's a good scorer.
Let me guess, he can shoot.
Yeah. He's a Walmart version of Tyler Hero.
Okay.
He went to South Carolina originally. It didn't work out. Now he's going to play at St. Thomas from where they're from. Milan Momcilovic, or I think he's from Wisconsin, Tyler Hero technically, but that area. Milan Momcilovic, he plays for Iowa State. Milan Momcilovic's little brother Luka is also on this team.
Okay.
They have a
A
Miami.
lot of little brothers on this team.
Yeah, they have a Miami transfer. They have a Nebraska transfer on top of those two guys and the returning minutes that they have.
Okay.
They've gotten better each of the 4 years under John Tower. 10, 19, 20, and 24 wins last season.
Wow.
So they're on the incline. They lost in the conference tourney final last year to Omaha when they were banging the trash cans. And people were talking about, if St. Thomas wins, they can't go to the tournament. So then Omaha's in no matter what.
I remember that.
St. Thomas was on a hot streak. They were shooting the lights out. They lost in the final. They're going for revenge this year. They are awesome. They're right there, the Tommies. They could easily be a team in March that people fell in love with in late February because they're like, oh my God, it's the UC San Diego story all over again. And UC San Diego was one of the best, really had one of the best mid-major seasons I've ever seen in the current era of the sport. I don't know if St. Thomas is going to be as good as that, but they could be very similar.
I mean, it's a fascinating one because it's a school most people have never heard of before.
Tommies.
Purple. They were purple and black, I believe it is.
It's white.
Nonetheless, that'll be fun.
They're going to be awesome.
Who's the next best team in that conference?
Summit, probably South Dakota State. They're always good.
It's always North Dakota
It's
State.
always South Dakota State.
I feel like
North Dakota State lost their dudes.
They did.
Yeah, Jakari White is the kid, the alopecia
Yep.
kid who's going to Virginia,
Yep.
who's nasty.
Yep.
Yeah, they lost a lot of their dudes, but they
Okay.
and Jackson Money went to the NBA.
Yep. Okay, I
South
got
Dakota
one.
State.
I got one for you. Let's play a little quick trivia game here.
Ooh, this is fun. I like trivia.
Can you name? You
Yes.
could say no. The highest ranked portal class that we are defining as mid-major here via 247sports.com.
My guess would be Murray State, but we already talked. I already brought them up.
It is not Murray State, though they were close.
Yeah, okay.
They are out of the CAA. It is the College of Charleston.
Yeah, I should have guessed that. They're
not-
good every year.
Well,
Amazing.
They're always good. Not sure if you've heard of their coach. It's Chris Mack now.
I'm aware.
And speaking of
They were
all
good
name
last year.
team, they have one of your favorite players in the country, Mr. Dean.
Mr. Dean is a bucket.
Tell him about Mr. Dean.
Mr. Dean is well. I was looking into some names. USC Upstate, I think he was out
That's
last
right.
year.
That's right.
Mr. Dean is nice. He could play. I thought they had Ante Berzovic again, but they don't this
Yep.
year. Mr. Dean is nice. People will learn about him. He'll be one of those dudes that people like all name team you see on like an Instagram
Yep.
post or something like that. Then they go and watch him and they realize he's actually tough.
Yeah, he's really
nice.
He's
Probably
a
their
really
best
good
player,
scorer. He
so.
scored 16 points a year last year. This is another
year,
one.
wow.
This is
That's
another one of
awful.
those teams not returning a lot of minutes. Actually, they are returning the least minutes in the CAA by a long shot,
They
like
lost a lot,
12%. So this is a very heavily recruited transfer portal. Chris Mack makes a lot of sense. Mr. Dean makes a lot of sense. They're always good.
I also know for a fact that from people inside that conference that they have like double the amount of NIL spending that any other team in that league does.
I mean,
which makes sense.
Pat Kelsey to Chris Mack is quite the.
Yeah, Charleston's interesting too. Like they were really good for the last 3 years, right before Chris Mack with Pat Kelsey. Obviously, that's why Kelsey got the Louisville job.
Yep.
They haven't done damage in the NCAA tournament, but they've been a popular pick and a popular team because of the way they play, very offensive and shooting, and they're good. They haven't been able to crack that code of consistency, I think, at the top, and also taking it to the next level is what I really look for. Like, they haven't been able to do that, and I think Chris Mack, like, if they can't do it with Chris Mack and a ton of NIL, they can't do it with anybody.
This is the formula to work there.
Yeah.
I think who won that conference last year? Was it UNC Wilmington? And Towson was close.
Towson's close every year.
I know they're always
My brother,
close.
they're close every year. They're
Towson-
probably going to be good.
Towson's in
I
the
do
family.
think that they return a lot this year, too, again.
Towson returns the second most minutes in the conference this year.
I know they return
42%.
a lot. They wanted to all come back.
They're always close.
Yeah.
They're always
They're
close.
not going to win it because they just don't.
Which is what happens with
So,
Towson.
that is what it is. All right, I got a couple more other leagues. There's always a good Big West school. Usually a UC school. Last year was San Diego, and Irvine was really good last
Okay.
year. They went to the NIT final. Santa Barbara's been really good. I think this year Santa Barbara is going to be the best UC school.
Okay.
I think it could bounce around. Joe Pasternak, one of the best mid-major coaches you're going to find. He has produced and developed NBA talent.
Yep.
They returned only a couple of pieces, but they got two dudes coming in. Ada Mahaney, everyone knows. St. Mary's, he was awesome on the West Coast.
But could we talk about like how'd that happen?
Let me paint the picture for you.
Okay.
Set the stage per se. Ada Mahaney is at St. Mary's as a freshman.
Right.
He's unbelievable.
Right.
He says, you know what? I'm gonna go try to take a step up. And to think about where he was at St. Mary's.
I understand.
West Coast, smaller school, smaller conference, right? But good conference.
Mm-hmm.
It went really well. UConn doesn't go well. So he says, you know what? I'm gonna go back down.
To the West
Why
Coast,
not go
yeah.
where I was succeeding?
Yeah.
He's not just going to go back to St. Mary's. He could have probably, but I don't know how Randy Bennett does transfers or not.
Sure.
But he went back. Now he's at UC Santa Barbara. I think he wants to make an NBA jump at some point also. And I think seeing how A.J. Mitchell and Miles Norris over the years have gotten there from the Gauchos, that's how they could do it. They also have Miro Little. Some people that are deep in the recruiting bag remember Miro Little. He committed to Baylor a few years ago. He's from Finland.
Yep.
He played at Utah last year. Big guard, good playmaker, really good defender. He's played on the international and professional stage a little bit. I like Miro a lot. I think things are going in the right direction for him. I think this is where he figures it out. Having a really offensive guard who's done it at this level and a really big, internationally skilled playmaking defensive guard next to him in the Big West is a recipe
I was
for
going to say Big West. It's honestly
good conference.
Really fun conference.
Great conference. They always produce good teams.
Really fun.
Always produce good teams. I do know. I was just out at UC San Diego. SD will still be decent.
Yeah.
They are trying to keep a similar play style. They just lost some
Irvine's
guys.
going to be good.
Irvine's always good.
Hawaii will be good this year.
They should be better, yeah. They're usually decent, but it's always those three schools
Yeah.
are the best ones in the conference. So I think UC Santa Barbara is going to be the team this year. All right, I got a few more before we get into the special segment with Coach Brooks Savage.
Great. Rattle them off.
There are always a few mid-majors that are kind of like machines at this point.
Sure.
Sometimes we mentioned Yale before. Liberty,
Every year.
now that they're in CUSA also, they
Yeah.
just they figured it out already. Richie McKay he's such a good coach.
Yep.
Another guy that's been like, oh, maybe he'll go to a big school. No need. Liberty, Akron, and McNeese State. McNeese is a
Yeah.
recent one.
More recent.
2 years in a row for them. Everyone thinks Will Wade's gone. We don't care about McNeese State anymore. They're going to be in the tournament again. They're 10. They actually kept a few guys. A few of them decided to stay at McNeese, and they brought in a couple more pieces. They have a brand new coach. McNeese is going to win the Southland. Akron and Mac will be better and more competitive. But John Gross is one of the – he's amazing. He's such a good coach. They're always good no matter what kind of personnel he has. He'll figure it out. Liberty, Akron, McNeese. And then great way to segment into our good friend Brooks Savage, the SoCon.
Okay.
ETSU is going to be good. Chattanooga is going to be good.
I just want to make it known.
What?
My pick's ETSU.
Okay. Go Bucks.
I'm just putting that out
So is
there.
mine.
Yeah, okay, good.
But there's a team that is better on paper.
Sure.
It's the Furman Paladins. Again.
They're just every year.
Bucky McMillan left Samford to go to Texas A&M
But it's a system.
late in the coaching
Yeah,
cycle.
Yeah.
Bob Ritchie is next. Bob Ritchie is such a good coach. I can't believe that programs didn't go after him more this offseason.
I think they might have.
I think they were hesitant because he's only done it at the national level once, and they won one tournament game. I think this year they get to, all he has to do is win the SoCon, and he's gone at the end of this year. That's my thought for Bob Ritchie. They're going to be good. Cooper Bowser, best defender in the conference, 6'11". He's awesome. I think they have his brother coming in also. They have a really good freshman class. The thing for me, though, with them, they always have a really dynamic shot-making guard. J.P. Pegues, who then went to Auburn, who didn't pan out there, but he was awesome for the team that beat Virginia that one year in the tournament. P.J. Smith last year was one of the best mid-major players in the country. Edrin Bronson, I think, this year is going to be their guy who takes a step up. He's lining up to start. He played decent minutes last year. He was a solid scorer and offensive player. But it looks like I think he's going to be a junior. Maybe he's going to be a sophomore. I think it is actually.
Yep.
It looks like he's going to have to be their guy and be that dynamic shot-making guard for them to take what they can be and to really reach their ceiling, basically.
Yep. Do you know that last year was the first year that a Bob Ritchie Furman team did not finish in the top 100 of KenPom? Think about that for a second.
How many years has it been?
This is his
6, 7?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This is his 8th year coming up.
Year.
So he is
That's crazy.
7 for 7 in the top 150 of KenPom.
As a SoCon team is wild.
And by the way, Nico Medved before that, they haven't been sub 150 in KenPom since 2015. A team out of the SoCon.
That's crazy.
Crazy.
That's actually insane.
Yeah. Efficient offense. You know the deal there. You know they're going to shoot the ball well. High pace. High pressure.
Yeah, they're going to be good.
Yeah.
ETSU is
Bob
gonna
Ritchie
contend
is
for sure, though.
gone this year.
Yeah, he's gone. Even if they don't win, he still could go. But if they win, for sure, he'll be gone.
Yep.
I know Chattanooga is going to be good. I do believe, not just because he's on the show and he's a good friend, obviously. I do know that ETSU is going to be good this year. They're going to be dangerous.
Yes, they are.
SoCon's always good, though. Always produces good teams. Sanford won't be terrible, but they definitely won't be the same. Furman's definitely the team to beat. They're going to be awesome this year for sure, the Paladins. So,
Yep.
Good timing. Let's roll into good timing. Let's roll into the coach interview. We got my good friend, Brooks Savage. He's a friend of the program. We're a friend of the program at ETSU. Awesome segment. We talk a lot about the current state of mid-majors and how he sees it being internally a mid-major coach. We talk about the SoCon. We play some games. He's a newly his birthday was last week. He's a father of 3 now.
Oh, who would do that?
You.
Crazy
Hilarious.
people.
We talk a lot about some personal stuff also, but a lot of on-the-floor stuff. He's a great guy, great coach. Definitely give that a listen and go follow him, Brooks Savage, and ETSU basketball program on all social media pages because they are going to contend in the SoCon this year.
Sure are.
So you're going to have to watch out for the Bucks. But really great segment. Hope you guys enjoy it. We now welcome on a good friend of the program, Coach Brooks Savage, out at ETSU, East Tennessee State, home of the Bucks, heading into his 3rd year with the Bucks out there in Johnson City, Tennessee. And I said it, but a good friend of the program, Coach. I appreciate you for coming on. Finally, we're making it happen.
Yeah, glad to be here. Love what you're doing, Ryan. It's awesome. I think it's really good information. but also really entertaining. So you've managed to check both of those boxes. So appreciate our friendship and our love of the game and college basketball. So really cool to be here.
Yeah, for sure. And look, I'm even because of you. This is one of the first team gear shirts that really got sent. So shout out to you and the Bucks, obviously. But yeah, I appreciated the same thing. Appreciate the kind words, and we are going to have some fun, and we are going to talk ball, obviously too. Biggest thing I want to talk to. You're on the episode right now, a segment on the mid-major episode. We're doing conference previews. This is mid-major focus on the best mid-majors in the country and the current state of mid-majors. So being a mid-major coach, obviously, and one of the best, if not the best, mid-major league in the country. The current state of mid-majors last year in the NCAA tournament, everybody's pissed and worried about no Cinderellas and no mid-majors able to get at-large bids and stuff like that. So quickly, I guess first, like, are you worried at all because of NIL money and how much that has kind of widened the quality gap because of the transfer portal and bringing the best players all to the top? Like, are you worried about mid-majors right now?
I don't know if I'd say I'm worried, but it's definitely a different time. It's definitely challenging. We had some guys here at ETSU the last time I was here with Coach Forbes that, man, there's no way we would have been able to keep those guys or get some of them. I mean, we had Hunter Mosquera Perea from Indiana, started games in the Big Ten. He has to sit out, and we end up getting him here. I mean, that would have never happened. It would never happen nowadays. And there were some other guys. I mean, we had TJ Cromer was a first-team All-League player as a junior college player after his junior year, going into his senior year. There's a chance he might leave. DeSante Bradford was the player of the year his senior year, but had a really good junior year. That's another guy we probably would have a hard time hanging on to. So there's just a number of those instances. It's definitely a trying time. Got to figure out, what we're doing as a department. And by the last years, by the time we get our infrastructure in place for, move forward, it changes. And so it's a constant struggle with that sort of stuff.
Yeah, it's a good point where there's pros and cons both ways. When I was out at San Francisco, Gerlison and I were talking about how about them in Santa Clara, guys transfer down and they go to find a better place where you have a guy coming in from Northwestern this year. Like, you guys find power players to come in all the time that they don't have the patience either. They go into a big school, they don't play. They're like, I got to go play somewhere and maybe get back up or get to the NBA, whatever it's going to be for them. But I don't think people consider that enough. And I think that is a good point. But the other side of not being able to retain players, it feels like impossible, right? Like, some very small amount of mid-major programs have been able to keep really good players. You guys had the conference player of the year last year, Kamari Peterson. I know you get it. We've talked about it. There's no world where you keep him. It's impossible for you to do that right now. So how do you guys, as a mid-major program, that's a good level one, how do you kind of try to close that gap a little bit? What are things that you guys do differently?
In Kimari's case, we talked about it throughout the year, just knowing that there was going to be agents in different schools, trying to message him or get in touch with him. We talked about it. And then when the season came to an end, it was just like, hey, man, you need to go clean out your locker because you're out of here. It was good. He did an unbelievable job for us, obviously. And that's what it's all about as a coach to me, I think, is, it's our job to help advance these guys, whether it used to be professionally. Now it's maybe a transfer situation, and I'm all right with that. He did everything he was supposed to do for us. He was fantastic, and we helped him, get to a better situation and advance. I think that's what all of us are trying to do, is compete at the highest level and continue to challenge ourselves. So to answer your question, I just think even more so now, because there is so much player freedom of movement, the one thing that we try to really do here is we try to make sure these guys have just a really good experience. That's the biggest thing, that we create a culture that is can help them develop and get better, surround them with other really good teammates and coaches that are really high level people. And if you do that, that's really all you can do. And, our administration has done a good job. We have some resources. We don't have the most in our league or at our level, but, we feel like we can be, somewhat competitive ultimately, if it reaches a dollar figure that's unattainable, then they have to make a decision. So we just really try to have these guys have a great experience. Winning is a big part of that, helping them get better on and off the floor and just see where it goes from there.
Yeah, and I feel like it's a good point about like helping guys get to wherever they're going to go, whether it's through the portal or not. And every mid-major coach that is going to succeed has to understand that, obviously. But it's almost like they are pro players at this point. So if I don't know how much he's getting, if Q's going to go get $1 million at Washington or whatever it is, like that's like him going to the NBA in that capacity because he's going to chase that bag and you're helping him get there. Woj said something very interesting recently because obviously he's with the Bonnies now, and he was like, if we can be the stop for everybody to then go to this school, to then go pro, like that's fine. And like Rick Pitino did that, and at Iona, obviously, and Todd's done that where he's gotten like Walter Clayton is a good guy that's gone through both those programs. Todd Golden at Florida, and it's a good point you mentioned that. Something else about the mid-major stuff where obviously you're not worried, obviously long-term about mid-majors, and whether you have to say that or not as a mid-major coach. But the scheduling seems to be harder than ever for mid-majors out of conference because analytically the big power schools are manipulating their non-con schedule to either beat down on really bad teams or they're playing the most elite teams in the power level. So from your perspective of a good mid-major, like how hard is it to schedule actual power teams that want to play you, especially in some kind of home and home, which seems impossible?
Yeah, the scheduling stuff is so funny. I've done scheduling. I was in charge of it for a long time, and your schedule comes out, and some people like it, some people won't. I think this is fans everywhere. It's like for the fans that don't like it, it's like, do you think that we're actually choosing who we get to play? So yeah, it used to be because strength of schedule was like a real thing. The top would kind of buy the middle. Like at Tennessee, when I was coming up as a manager, GA for Coach Pearl, like we were playing mid-major teams that could win their league, Belmont, Middle Tennessee, whoever. And now it seems like the top's buying the bottom, and they're going to try and crush them, right, to get their metrics. And then they're going to play some ones, quad ones and two. But so many of us are just in the purgatory of quad three. Not good enough to get a good game, too good to get a good game. And so the middle is just left just battling it out. And so, that's just where we're at. I think our schedule, I got the board over here, but
I haven't seen it, right? You haven't released it yet?
Next week, I think we're waiting on a couple contracts, but it's got some good opponents on there. Listen, we're all just trying to prepare our teams for league play. We're trying to challenge yourself, but not too much, and ultimately we're all just trying to win. And so, I think we accomplished that, but, we'll see. We got to go play and win, but scheduling has definitely changed because it's hard to get we're not choosing. We don't have a lot of resources to buy a bunch of games and buy opponents. And so you're just trying to find teams that are willing to play. Some that'll go on the road and you just try to figure it out.
It's like, it sucks from a fan's perspective, like deeper fan. I obviously understand why the power coaches do that, but at the same time, the majority of fans are like, this is so annoying. We don't want to play, I don't know, Mississippi Valley State and the Citadel and those kind of teams, because we want to see our team play better opponents. And I think even the fans of power teams, like good point about Bruce Pearl. Bruce Pearl well. You were a Tennessee alum. Steve Forbes well. Like Wake, Tennessee, Auburn, I would love to see them play you guys. I would love to see you have a home and home with Wake, with Steve Forbes, who obviously was ETSU guy. Like to see them come to ETSU to have those chances for a school like yours to say Wake or Auburn is a good example, obviously a top 25 team. Like if they were to come into your house and all of a sudden you're having a good year, you have a chance to have one of the most memorable moments in school history right there. So like, it feels like those moments are gone, and not that it's a problem that you have to go play the Daytons and the St. Louis's and et cetera of the world, because those are great programs, but you got to be damn near perfect if you want to push in for Selection Sunday at large contention, which mid-majors just haven't been able to get recently, which kind of sucks.
Yeah, Coach Forbes actually is coming here this year for an exhibition game.
It doesn't count. It doesn't count.
Yeah. But those games are even still, those are next to impossible to get. And so credit to him, credit for Coach Pearl for going on the road. I think the scheduling thing for us, like our number one goal in scheduling this year, honestly, was to stay on the bus because flying is so expensive. Whether you charter or whether you fly commercial, it's a significant increase in expense. So we tried to stay on the bus. Like I think we should play. App State, we tried to play them. We played them our first year on a return that was already contracted. We've tried to restart the series, a couple of times. We should play them every year. Marshall or, whoever.
Yeah.
I think that the more regional you can keep it, I think it's easier for everybody because the travel can wear your team out. But yeah, it'll be good for us to get Wake Forest in here, at least as an exhibition. It's cool,
Yeah.
I think, for both teams. But scheduling, it's of no advantage. Like when I was at Wake Forest, like it makes no sense for us to do something like that. But I do wish we would see it more. You're seeing it in college football here this first couple of weeks, and I think that's really cool. The home and homes, and that's kind of what makes our sport great.
Yeah, and like we did on the pod last week, like the regional matchups in college football were awesome last week. You see a lot of them in college basketball, but they're Kentucky, Louisville, Iowa, Iowa State. Like Iowa State used to do the Drake UNI thing also, and all four of them would kind of have a non-con battle, other than Drake UNI obviously being in the same conference. But it'd be great if, like, I don't know the geography well enough, West Virginia and Tennessee and you guys and like a couple of other mid-majors got to all play against each other in little regional sessions and mini tournaments, like early in the season, all in the same weekend, because like that adds value for everybody. The fans, the bigger schools can host them and collect money from it and stuff like that. So I feel like there is opportunity for it, but I'm living in a dream world right now. So
yeah, I mean, I'm with you on that. I saw that video you put out was good. I think one of them was like St. Louis and Missouri. I've like haven't played in like forever. I'm like,
how does that make sense? They're like an hour away from each other.
You'd like to see more of that, but when the coaches took over the scheduling, I think it made it a lot more difficult. But It is also good to have more control over the games you got to go coach. So I don't know. It's an imperfect science, but shout out to all the coaches that are, more willing to play than others.
Yeah. Last thing I'll ask you on the scheduling, if you could have two dream opponents for this year, just like randomly flash them on the calendar, who would it be? One at home and one away.
Oh man, non-conference games.
Of course.
Yeah, I mean, I think we should play App State every year. We're an hour away. They got a good program. Our fans, they like that. It's an old Southern Conference game. And then, I think our people would like to play Belmont. Again, that's an in-state deal. I don't know if I'd like to play Belmont, but just have so much respect for how they play and the success of the program. But
no,
jump out. Maybe Middle Tennessee. We scrimmage them, so. But yeah, something like that. I think the more regional you can be, the better.
That's fair. I like that a lot, and trying to create those regional rivalries for sure. You mentioned Belmont, MVC. I feel like MVC, SoCon, even like Ivy, there's a few really, really good mid-major leagues across the country. First off, relative to the SoCon, like how do you think your league differentiates and kind of sets apart from the middle and lower level of mid-majors across the country? Because Furman definitely helped getting put on the map a little bit a couple of years ago when they beat Virginia. Sanford, obviously, a couple of years ago was awesome. And there's been really good teams, even like Wofford and Davidson back in the day. Like, what makes the SoCon one of the best mid-major leagues in the country?
I just think it's been just a long line of really good coaches, first of all. You got a mix of private schools and public schools, which is interesting. But there's been great coaches. I mean, Bob McKillop coached in this league. I mean, not without going back too far. Davidson, they had a great run. I mean, Mike Young, they won tournament game, could have won two. Nico got that thing started at Furman, and Bob's, blowing the roof off of it. And, we've had great coaches from all the way back from Alan LaForce to Coach Bartow to Coach Forbes. Chattanooga just reloads. It seems like every coaching change. And so there's been great hires in the league, and then just, guys that can really recruit and, just lots of good players, just lots of good players. I mean, I think there's a lot of, players from our league that have transferred up high major.
Yeah.
So, and I think those schools know that they come from good programs. And so, and now with Rev Share, there's even more parity. So from top to bottom, it's a really, really tough league. No off nights in this league. I mean, and I, you can call BS because Citadel did go 0-18, but Ed Conroy, I don't think anybody's signing up to play him. He's, one of the best coaches in our league for sure. I worked for him at Tulane, and so that's not one they lost to Chattanooga on the road, made a shot that was like a blink past the buzzer that would beat them. So there's no off nights in this deal, and just really good coaches.
there's a shit ton of good players that come out of the SoCon that people don't even realize, like how many transfer up and end up being great players. And I think a lot of the fans of like bigger schools in the country, they just like, oh yeah, we got this guy from like a random school, whatever, and then all of a sudden he's amazing, and they don't really know a ton about him. Stylistically, are there similarities amongst the SoCon teams that you see from a coaching perspective? Because obviously you're scouting the teams a lot, but stylistically, is there anything similar that you've noticed in your league that you haven't seen elsewhere?
I think that there's a lot of similarity in our league, but I think everybody in some form or fashion is playing a lot of the 5-out, the Princeton, the Zoom action. I think everybody's got that in some form or fashion in our league. But again, it's a lot of really current, up-to-date, modern stuff offensively. And but there is some variation. Mike Jones at Greensboro runs a really good kind of ball stream continuity, and they always got really good guards. Mm-hmm. Obviously Chattanooga and Furman are high-powered offensively. Wofford's got shooting all over the floor. VMI runs good stuff. And then Sanford's playing a whole different style.
Not anymore, maybe. You never know.
Yeah, they were. Now Lenny might be the best coach in the league. I think he's exceptional. And they'll play that same sort of style as a lot of the other teams. So you do get a lot of similarity, but I think there's enough difference to make it challenging from night to night.
Yeah, no, I hear that. I think the shooting schematic, modern adaptability has been a huge thing of like thinking about like Furman Chattanooga, the title game that one year in overtime. What was his name? David John Baptiste, the half court. You weren't here yet, right?
I was at Wake Forest. Yeah, that was Lamont Paris was the coach of Chattanooga.
Oh my God, that's crazy. Yeah.
That like incredible shot.
Right. Thinking about those kind of teams, both those teams had crazy players. Furman team had obviously JP Pegues, Jalen Slauson, who's an NBA player, Jake Stevens at Chattanooga, like ton of guys. Kumar, obviously, like it's crazy to see the talent.
A couple years ago, I think our league had like 8 or 9 guys in the NBA Summer League.
That's crazy.
Which I think is a pretty good number. So good player.
Yeah. And it's interesting because like there's so many good coaches and good programs in and out where like if you guys have been in and out, hopefully you're back in now. Chattanooga, Furman, Sanford, obviously, and a couple others, like it feels like it's pushing the level of the MVC, and then hopefully they can get near the A10 and stuff like that. And I think being able, like obviously Bucky going last minute to A&M is what it is. He was always going to get a job somewhere, but Bob still being at Furman and having really good coaches, I feel like kind of lays the groundwork for building the SoCon up to like a really good level. Speaking of the conference this year, let's talk about you guys a little more. You're going into your third year where a lot of coaches in their third year and programs and transfers tend to take turns and break out for the positive. I know you lost your 3 or 4 best scorers, but you're returning a lot of your guys beneath that in your depth, which I think is definitely underrated. What are you guys looking to do this year? Are there like certain goals that you have, whether that's really granular or it's just to get to the tournament or it's even more vague than that?
Yeah, I mean, I think the expectation, big picture here is always to win a championship because there's so much rich tradition at ETSU. Yeah. I mean, you go back late 80s, early 90s, 2000s, mid 2000s, 17, 20 when I was here last time. So just consistent success in the program. But for us, we got to be better offensively. I thought we were fine last year when we were healthy. Dinged up at the end. We just didn't have enough offense in the end. Yeah. And we just didn't have enough offense at all the spots in general. So we really tried to add some skill. We led the league in defensive efficiency last year, which I was pleased with. And so we've got to try to, with this new group, a lot of new guys. We have a few returners, but a lot of new guys. We got to, get them to have that same edge and build that same defensive identity. But we've got to be better offensively. This is a really good offensive league. I think if you look at our championship game, it was in the 80s and 90s. Crazy. Chattanooga was one of the best offensive teams in the country, regardless of level. I think they showed that. And so you have to be able to score. It's a 3-point heavy volume league, but with really good offensive coaches and systems. So you have to be able to score. And so we've really spent a lot of time on offense, recruited offense, and that's kind of some of our goals heading in.
For sure. Are there 1 or 2 things that you're keen on, especially with the group, that you think like we are going to be prime in this whether it's this level of analytics or statistic or style of the game or certain kind of set or anything. Not to give the whole scouting report away to the rest of the SoCon, but
Oh, that's all right. I think by the time we play those teams, there'll be enough tape. Yeah, I mean, I think we've added a lot of shooting. Kimari was an exceptional shooter. John Buggs, he was on pace to break the school record before he got hurt. But I think we've just got more shooting. I think we'll be more organized offensively. Not that we were not organized, but we'll be a little bit more organized. And when I say that, I mean off missed shots. I think, sometimes, not to get too much into like basketball talk, but we were so good defensively that, I wanted to try to give them some freedom offensively. And I felt like we would get stops, but we didn't convert off missed shots enough. And so we're trying to do a little bit more there. And then defensively, just, being aggressive. We've talking about NIL earlier, rev share. One of the things I think it really shows up, talked about Hunter Perea, is the center position. Like the days of our program having the guys that we've had in the past, I think is over. You can't afford them. So we've gone with no centers. We have no centers. We had some centers last year because the year before there was really good ones in the league. But I just think that the game is just, those guys are dinosaurs a little bit. We can't get one that's good enough or afford one that's good enough.
That's a good point.
I mean, there's a guy from this league, I won't say where and where he went to, but he went to a blue blood program for like $150,000+, and he's not going to play at all. It's like to be on the scout team. And so that's where it's at. Like, so we've gone, everybody that will play the 5, the dreaded 5 position for us this year, all played the 4 last year. So we just wanted to have 2 mobile, continuous front court guys and guys that can play offense and you can do some different stuff defensively with them. So
that's a good point. I never thought about that, the center position, because like it's hard to find such solid big dudes, and a lot of the bigs in mid-major leagues are either young and unproven, or they're like they have clear like issues with their game and clear like holes, whether they can't move or they can't shoot at all or whatever it is. But even those guys, like you said, I'm pointing out guys that are good now. Like first guy that comes to mind, a High Point, Jocelyn Bodo. He's a good player. He's a great rebounder, but he has clear limitations to his game. But he's going to Baylor now, probably for a good chunk of money because we know they got money to spend. Where like every half decent center at all is going to the next level for sure. And I never thought about that. So it forces you guys to play small, therefore be able to shoot more, and the league becomes more offensive. It's like a domino effect.
Yeah, I mean, I think we just look for. You want size, positional size, but the height, I mean, I'd much rather have a player that's better at 6'8" versus a guy that, can't play dead at
right.
6'8". It doesn't really matter. And I just think that how I think we want to play, especially defensively, when you have a center, you have to make concessions. You can only do what they can do offensively and defensively. You can only play pick and roll coverage one way. And that's probably in the drop, or at least up to the level, but you can't get aggressive with pick and roll coverage, for instance.
Yeah.
And so you're a little bit handcuffed by their limitations. And, so we just tried to just put more skill and versatility on the floor. And I think you're seeing that more and more just across basketball globally at all levels. Yeah,
that's a good point. And a lot more like positional versatility and whatnot. I definitely get that for sure. It's interesting to watch the SoCon and mid-major leagues change over the years and kind of see how they trend all over the place. But I mentioned analytically before. I know you're a big analytics guy because you know that I'm a big analytics guy, and we've had our fair share of numbers and data talk over the course of the last couple of years. Are there certain things you guys look for on, I guess, that are maybe relative to the mid-major level, but it's just general college program level? Are there certain kind of metrics you work towards or certain programs that you kind of try to take after?
You talking about in the recruiting or like as it relates to your team?
Schematic wise on the team. Yeah,
I mean, I think that I look at it. I'm kind of somewhere in the middle. Like I like it. I like the information. I think sometimes it doesn't always tell an accurate story. So I just try to, we're really big on just obviously the simple stuff.
Yeah.
Points per possession and stuff like that. I think that's just a benchmark of like, hey, and then obviously it's anytime you're assessing and evaluating, I think it's eyes, ears, and numbers. And so it's just part of it, hey, this number was high, then go back and watch why. I think it just helps you solve the puzzle. Our 2-point percentage defense and offense has got to get better. So we try to create some ways to create some more high quality 2-point shots. And then we really kind of we do kind of more stuff with like charting things than maybe just the analytics that come off the paper. Contested shots versus uncontested shots, stuff like that.
Yeah,
we try to put a value on. What gets measured gets done, but you can't measure everything.
Yeah,
so we try to pick a few things and hang our hat there.
I like that. So I will say, so no mid-range shots are coming this year is what I'm getting at here for the Bucks. But
here's the thing: I do a shot selection presentation to the team like the second day they're here.
Sure.
Okay? Like I just think that those are time and place.
Fair. And with player specific, like if a guy, like when a guy scores 20 points a game like you or something like that, you're like, all right, if you're going to find your looks here, that you're comfortable there, you're going to hit it, fine, I don't care.
Yeah, I think it's time and place and personnel. Yeah. That you always have a guy or two that is comfortable with that shot, likes that shot, wants to shoot it. You maybe do. I have a great metaphor. I don't think it's maybe appropriate for the air. I have to tell you off air, but there's time and place.
Damn.
Yeah. So there's time and place, but yeah, for that sort of stuff. But I also think there's I think there's a number for if you look at the best offensive teams in each league. I think at our level, it's a little bit higher at the higher level, but I think for our level, somewhere between like 9 and to 11 or so dribble jump shots a game is kind of where you want to be. I don't think that none is great. Obviously, I don't think that 15 is great. So there's probably a sweet spot there.
Yeah, you need to have guys who are able to create and can do that and get in a rhythm for sure to be able to win games at the highest level and in a good league like yours and throughout the tournament where you need to play very well against good teams and you have to just lean on good players to win. I like that you mentioned contested shots. It's something that I love too because it's hard to evaluate that and put a valuation and a number on that or quantify it because like just do it or don't do it. And it's hard to gauge what is an actual contested shot versus not sometimes, which I hate also. But listen, number one on defensive efficiency in the SoCon last year. There you go. That's pretty damn good outcome from that. But it's interesting because like little tiny things like that drastically change so many things on data points and how you're performing. And I think anyone who plays the sport of basketball knows that you get a hand in your face like versus not, like it's a completely different world. And it's the tiniest things that I like that I hear you talking about that I think hopefully keep kind of moving the needle for you. So
yeah, like I just want to be in front of them when they shoot it.
Yeah.
I just think I'm not really, some people are. Just for me personally, I don't like obsess over ball pressure. Mm-hmm. Like, I can't be way off of them, but I don't want to be up there like over pressuring guys and fouling and getting beat off the dribble and putting us in compromising situations defensively. So, I want to be in front of them when they shoot it and contest 3-point shots and so we try to put a big emphasis on that.
And it's a work ethic thing too at that point. Like you don't worry about the data. If you're not going to hustle your ass for shots that we know are less valuable to the other team if we're there versus not there, like just do the extra work for 2 seconds to take an extra step and lunge and put a hand up. Like it's that simple. So
yeah, just try to get in there. They got to feel you. And I think the more that you can do that and the more kind of defensive intensity that you can play with.
Yeah.
And when they get an open one, because they felt you all night, with your pressure and contesting, then, maybe that open one doesn't feel so open.
Yeah. All right, let's get into some fun stuff here. I got a couple games for you. Okay. You have not been prepped at all for this, which is the good stuff, obviously. We talk, like you said, we talk ball, we be serious, but we like to have some fun also. So I'm going to we got 2 games. We're going to play Would You Rather, first one. And it's going to be
this one since college, Hammer.
Okay. That's an off-camera story also. Those are 2 off-camera stories at this point. You are newly a father of 3. Is that correct?
Team's on the floor. That's right.
Congratulations again, first of all, formally on the air. So we are going to play Would You Rather father of three versus mid-major basketball coach. All right. And you're going to tell me which one you'd rather, and then we're going to see which one you'd rather be at the end if you had to choose one.
All right.
Okay. First one, would you rather get a full night's sleep with no interruptions for an entire month, or retain all of your eligible players from a previous season for the next season?
Oh, retain the players.
You don't need sleep.
No. I mean, no.
You already probably don't get much anyway.
Not at that cost.
Fair. Okay, fair enough. It's hard at the mid-major level. Make people appreciate it. All right. Would you rather all three kids throw a temper tantrum in a restaurant at the same time, or all three refs in a conference game don't know how to correctly call, block, or charge?
All three kids throwing a temper tantrum, or all three refs
throwing a temper tantrum, basically.
Yeah, I mean, I can't comment on the officiating.
So you're
policy.
So you'll take the temper tantrum by default.
We have great officiating in our league.
It's an unbelievable answer to the question. I love that. I will answer how about this? If I was a mid-major coach, which I am not, I would do anything besides have refs that don't know how to call the game correctly. But like you said, the refs are all perfect. They're all great.
They're good. I like them. Everything's a block, which I'm fine with. So
fair enough. And the rule has actually changed over the course of the years, which is interesting. Refs across the country, they're human beings. They don't get it. So
yeah, it's a hard game to officiate. I mean, it's you guys a lot of physicality. It happens fast. Like
yeah.
I really do think we have a pretty well officiated league.
I thought that was a political answer. I take it back. Okay, fine. All right, last one for you. Would you rather have Baby Shark stuck in your head all day for the entire offseason, or you lose everybody and you have to replace your entire roster, top to bottom, only through the transfer portal in one offseason?
Yeah, so I'm an Orioles fan. Obviously, I'm named after Brooks Robinson, and I named my son Camden. And so after Camden Yards, kind of keeping the thing going, and we didn't really love anything else more. But anyway, so the Nats won the World Series somehow, and like Baby Shark was their thing. So I hate Baby Shark. And so whatever B was.
You have to replace your entire team top to bottom. No walk-ons, all in the portal.
We kind of did it this year. I mean, 12 of our 15 guys are new. I don't mind it.
Okay, fair enough. Baby Shark is that bad. You didn't need to hear option B.
Baby Shark's out. Can't stand it.
I was going to say, where are you going with this right now? Orioles, I don't understand that, but I hear you now. I hear you. That was all I had. I think you'd rather be, it sounds like a mid-major basketball coach, but you kind of went back and forth. Luckily for you, you get to be both father of three and mid-major basketball coach.
Yeah, my wife, she's a superstar, man. She holds it down, and she, I told the guys she makes the dream complete. If this was all we had, it'd be pretty empty. So to be able to share it with her and the kids, it's been pretty fun. There was my first exhibition game, my first year. There is about. It's not a great crowd for an exhibition game, and you can hear my oldest daughter. She's just yelling "Daddy" at me, and finally, I just turn on. I'm like, "What?" And so it's been pretty cool. Those are the kind of the moments that you want to have with your family. It makes it special. So yeah, it's been pretty cool.
Shout out to the missus and the kids, obviously. How far are you from campus? How far do you live?
We live 20 minutes from campus.
Do they come to all the games or a lot of home games?
Yeah, every home game, and then been on the road a little bit. So I think they're going to come to. We play North Carolina, so I think it's going to try to come over for that and do some stuff. So yeah,
that'll be fun. It'll feel even sweeter when they're there. Although SoCon tournament's always neutral site. Where's the tournament at always?
Asheville.
That's not far, is it?
No, 1 hour. Freedom Hall South. Our people do a great job of taking it over, and we have a. 2 years ago, we played for the championship. I mean, it's probably 80-20 ETSU fans. And, so I was trying to create as much home court atmosphere in there as possible. And
yeah,
we were close.
You're going to cut nets down at some point, and they're going to be there is what I was getting at, which is going to be awesome because it is so close to home. I got one more game for you. This is strictly basketball, I promise. And it won't be no political answers at all. Oh, we'll see. All right. I'm going to have you blind rank these – not only mid-major, but I want you to blind rank these SoCon basketball legends, okay? I'm going to give you got 4 of them. You're on social media enough. You know what a blind ranking works. So first one we're going to start with, We'll start with Jalen Slauson from Furman.
There's 4 guys. 3.
Okay. No reasoning. You're going 3, which I think is a good answer for the record.
A conservative. I'm laying up on the first one.
The barometer. Fair enough. Next one is going to be Keith Mr. Jennings.
1.
No matter what.
Yeah.
I don't think a lot of people don't know who he is, especially a lot of younger people, where he was an All-American at ETSU, 3 NCAA tournaments in a row, but he never won a game until the year he left, I think it was, right?
So good. I mean, just the most dynamic player maybe in school history, just incredible. Those were awesome teams. And I think if you took a poll in East Tennessee that Mr. James is probably the fan favorite of all time, but just an awesome, great person, really supportive of our team and our program, but just an incredible player, just hell on wheels, man.
That is awesome. I don't think people understand, 1, to have an All-American out of ETSU, and 2, to go to 3 straight tournaments is unbelievable. And people also don't remember that ETSU would have been in the tournament in 2020 when the tournament got canceled. They had won the SoCon tournament, and they were I think they were on a crazy hot streak also. There's been a lot more success across the SoCon, like you mentioned earlier, about parity, and hopefully you guys are up next at some point.
We'd won 12 in a row going into the would have been going into the NCAA tournament, and so
that's crazy.
For that year, yeah, we were rocking.
That's crazy. All right, 2 more left. Third one is going to be Fletcher McGee.
Who?
Shooter.
Yeah, man. I mean, unless you're going to say that guy behind you, as the 4th option. I mean, Fletcher McGee is one of the most difficult covers of anybody that we've ever played against, of any game I've ever. I mean, Jody Meeks hit us for 54 when I was in college. Fletcher McGee was incredible. He's getting all the floppy action. He's getting that off. You're not getting a contest on him. He's incredible.
He was. I don't think people understand how crazy he was. And I think Wofford with him, they were a 10 seed, right? Or a 7 or one or the other or something like that.
7. Yeah,
7 seed in the NCAA tournament for Wofford, led by Fletcher McGee. I don't think people understand how ridiculous that is and how amazing he was. When you say mid-major college basketball player and a legend like that, he's one of the first people that come into mind. Him and Thomas Walkup and random dudes like that. Who Thomas Walkup is crazy and he's still nice in Europe, but I don't know if Fletcher's still playing, but he was crazy. And I like hearing you say that about him. So you guys played him when you were where?
Too many times. I played him his whole career. And so I've had enough. So for that reason, I'll put him 4, even though he's incredible. He and Jalen Smith, one of our players, were working out together down in Florida. So just he's a problem.
So Jalen Smith's going to shoot 9 threes a game this year, 45% from 3. He has to. If you're training with Fletcher McGee, if I'm a college basketball player, I'd rather train with Fletcher McGee than Steph Curry to be a shooter, I swear.
He is. I've never seen anything like it. He'll catch the ball with his toes facing midcourt and shoot the turn, square in the air, and there ain't nothing you can do about it, man. Sometimes our guys would be like, hey, man.
What are you supposed to do? Especially at that level where there's clear levels to this, and the elite mid-major players are a problem, especially before pre-NIL portal era where they would just stay where they are. Those guys were, especially as they got older. So you'd have 1, 3, 4, 2. The last one is Steph Curry at Davidson. Yeah, you knew that was coming, so it was a good call. And I'd say you ranked it properly, even though Steph Curry is Steph Curry, right?
He changed the game. He changed the game. He was. His speed in college was very underrated. He is incredibly fast with the ball. I don't know if it's so much anymore, but when he was playing in Davidson's system, they're an up-tempo team. He was really fast in the open floor, and what he did, on that Elite 8 run was incredible. But yeah, he's one of the all-time greats in SoCon, in the NBA.
Yeah.
So yeah, just it's incredibly special.
He it's crazy to think he's come from a mid-major league and the SoCon. He's one of the best NBA players in basketball, human beings of all time. The best shooter ever came from the Southern Conference, which is actually crazy to think about. And I guess people don't remember that Davidson played in the SoCon also. But they did during those prime years, and that's what helped them get up and kind of eventually land in the A10. But I feel like you ranked this list pretty well because your ETSU guys, you have to go first, right?
That's right. Mr. Jennings I think he was the small player of the year, national player of the year. You know, in JUCO at Hutch, we got the small player of
yeah.
They had that, and he was like the national player of the year of guys like under 6 foot or whatever.
Yeah, he's like what, 5'8"?
Yeah, I mean, he played for Golden State. I mean, he played in the NBA.
I did not know that. I mean, I guess when you
yeah, I mean, I think his 3-point. Go look at his 3-point percentage. I mean, it's unbelievable.
I'm gonna look at it right now. Mr. Jennings, he was 5'7", 160. That's crazy. He shot. Oh my God, he shot 59% in college from 3 his last year, and he scored 20 points a game. That is absolutely bonkers to score 20 on 59 from 3. 71% effective field goal percentage as a 5'7" guard is. Oh my God, 20 points a game, 9.1 assists, 3.5 steals also a game. Jesus, that's crazy. That's wild, but that's a fair list. That's all I got for you today, my man. I really do appreciate you coming on here, obviously, and I know this has been a long time coming. Any last words you got to say, or anything heading into the season for the Bucks?
No, man, just excited to get going, and we got a great place to play college basketball. We got the best fan base and maybe all of mid-major. They love basketball here, and so I like this group a lot. We got a long ways to go, but I like this group, so we're working hard, and we'll see here in a couple months what we got.
For sure. All right, shout out to you. Shout out to the ETSU Bucks. If everybody watching right now, you got to tap into the SoCon Basketball this year because it's going to be one of the best mid-major leagues in the country, per usual. Coach Brooks Savage, follow him on social media. You can find him pretty easily, but appreciate you coming on again.
You're the best. Thanks for having me.
Shout out Brooks Savage for coming on again. Great friend of the program. He's awesome. That was a great segment. He's just he's one of the up-and-coming coaches in all of college basketball.
Such a good dude, too.
Yeah, he really is.
He's such a good dude.
That is going to do it for this episode of Blue Blooded. It was a long one, so if you're still here, you can hear in my voice. I've been talking for so long.
Oh, my goodness.
I genuinely appreciate you all very much for being here, the support, the love. This is the longest episode we've had by a long shot, but for good reason because I think it's the best.
And we love you. Are we doing conference previews next week, Ryan? More?
I think actually soon. I won't give the schedule yet.
Oh, we should do a schedule.
We're gonna do at some point 2 episodes in a week.
Okay.
2 episodes a week for a few weeks.
We'll let you know what's coming.
Yeah, because there's so many conferences I want to get to. But this was all the mid majors you got to look out for. Appreciate y'all for watching and tuning in. Hope you have a great week.